Today we're looking at 3D modeling, 3D spaces using a program called 3DVISTA, and how we can use that technology to create something called digital twins. Something that's been on the horizon a lot for a while for in different sectors, and yeah, slowly people are sort of, what's the word, assimilating this into their work practice. So in the construction industry, it's now known as Building Information Management, BIM, and that's been around for a while, but what people are doing now is they're using 360 cameras and other scanning equipment to make 3D models to then and 360 walkthroughs to kind of have sort of stage by stage experiences, communication devices, all the different elements to digital twins. So we're going to have a little look at that today. I've made something which we're going to look at now, and it's a digital twin of a woodland for an arborist company that are basically developing the management plan for this woodland. First of all, I think I'm going to take you around the tour, and then we'll go and have a look at what this notes feature is. Okay, so as you can see here is the 3D model. Just turning around there, and this is my logo, of info about me, and yeah, so this is just a sort of 360 introductory sphere, and we're going to click on that there, and that's going to take us in. Okay, so here we are, and we are at the beginning of the tour at this prestigious hotel just south of here at a place called Turnberry. So I've put this sort of logo of the company here to cover up the tripod, and this is a map. So all of these points where each image was taken I took a GPS reference, and here is an aerial image with all of the points. Okay, so what we're going to do is, as we go along, each step we take, well, more or less all of them, there's a geotag, GPS reference tag. Okay, so up in the sun here, can't see it there, but if I move the cursor over it, you can see it pulsating there. That's kind of like circle pulsating. So if I click on that, that'll take me back into the introsphere. So that's a kind of a going back thing. And that thing you can see there is that it's appeared as, in this program, is called a hotspot. Hotspots are used for navigating around these virtual tours, these digital twins. Click on that, and then it'll just move me up to the next image, and if I click on that, it'll take me back down again. So basically, where there's a path, then you just click on the path, and then it'll work. As you can see, I'll just click on this one. We're now at that one there, and just go have a little look around. So as you can see, the resolution on this image is pretty good, and you can do a bit of zooming in if you want, and zooming out, and get a nice wide perspective. It's a lovely day when I shot this, so in fact possibly even slightly too sunny, if you can ever experience that. As you can see, it's just kind of bleaching out things a little bit. So yeah, this bit over here is kind of open already. It's got trees all around it, and it offers a nice kind of secluded woodland feeling, but openness as well. Kind of woodland glade, and I think that's quite a positive feature to try to encourage. Maybe, you know, might be really great for brambles and things in there if you were to encourage that kind of vegetative growth. So yeah, there's a path this way, but there's a little sign here saying don't go this way. So it's rhododendron in the back here. That'll need managed probably. Rhododendron is an invasive species and it's very good at spreading, so it needs to be managed or at least looked at. So as you can see, we've got this kind of deciduous woodland, and then we don't go up to the hotel here. In fact, there's a new route here which is discoverable, much like this, the hotspot on the sun earlier on. And when we look at the notes, it'll make more sense later on. So as you can see, some nice native tree species, a bit of alder there, and a variety of different ground flora. And again, it's discoverable hotspots, just basically to make it kind of pleasurable to look at. You know, not hotspots appearing all over the place. This guy appeared out of nowhere. I never heard him until I saw the photograph. I was like, wow. So I was busy. So there's a hotspot there to get back down onto the path. Let's go back down to the path. And again, all of these are geo-referenced on the map. So if you were, say for example, you had a large space, you could, you know, make a tour like this, and then whenever you find something of interest, of conservation interest, you can take your images around it, geotags, all these things, and make, you know, well, later on you'll see you can make really interesting records about your site and your conservation assets, your nature conservation assets, your building, you know, your whatever, built heritage, whatever. These ultimately, you know, it's a blank slate with these tours. It's a case of create the story and then, you know, build it so other people can experience it. And so yeah, I basically walked around this woodland, and every 12 paces I took a picture, and I know that my 12 paces is approximately 10 meters. I've measured that many times and checked and rechecked, and so I know that if I just walk my normal kind of walking speed, walking pace, and so see it's going up here, up into this bit here. There's not really an obvious path, so it's still these discoverable hotspots. So this is going to be a kind of along this area, that whole, where all these discoverable hotspots are, this is a path which is going to get reinstated in some way to make it a bit more visitor friendly. So yeah, lovely woodland next to this hotel, and it offers great opportunities for hotel guests to connect with nature, and also, you know, there's a certain amount of forageable plants and fungi and stuff in here which could be useful to the kitchen as well. So the opportunities for the hotel to use the woodland for nature connection and through all sorts of different activities. Spot the cameraman. I'm in each one of these pictures, and most of the time I manage to hide behind a tree or whatever, but in that one I didn't manage to do it very well. So you can play spot the cameraman if you like. So as we go through this woodland, you can see that there's this plant here. This is a kind of garden escape, some form of I thought it might be snowberry, but I don't know if it is. But yeah, there's this big area of this plant which I would be wanting to look at and manage if I was managing this woodland, because it's non-native, and as you can see seems to be pretty good at taking over the space. So let's go along here. And what the company that is using this is going to be looking at things like, okay, there's a bit of a path down there which it's got this overhanging tree, just leaning on this tree. Is that a safety issue? And that's the kind of thing they're going to be using this for, and marking up things like different assets in the woodland. Like this is quite an interesting asset. This is a piece of old, what looks like old coppice, and it's very interesting. Some of these branches might be overhanging the, quite putting a lot of weight, like these ones in front of the path. These things overhanging the path. Does that pose an issue? These are the questions that the this arborist company is going to be looking at. So you can see up here, it's leaning on that tree there, and they have marked this with a bit of tape to say they're looking at that one. Interesting, there's some interesting features on these trees. There's in this other limb here. So yeah, you can look at the species, and you can say, right, at this point here, NS 2067906097, and there's another map attached to that. So to make it really obvious, at that point there is an issue that we can talk about, and we'll look at the notes later on after we've been round once. We'll come back, we'll have a little look at how this sort of information, or this sort of output, this 3D tour, virtual tour, digital twin output can be used for communicating. So just instantly seeing these holes in these trees here, thinking, oh, that's interesting. Is that woodpecker? Great thing about 3DVISTA, I think, as a company, is that they're always really good at looking at how the XR industry can be utilized, basically in a practical and not just fun sort of virtual reality sort of thing, but how can it be used to really benefit society. And that's what I'm all about, really, how to use it in really valuable ways. So yeah, this is digital twinning, and just kind of doing this back, well, during the pandemic was when I built my first kind of digital twins, and they were of farms. Made a big digital twin of a farm, which became an exploratory game for young people to explore what hazards are on a farm. Up until this point, it's been about 360 videos and 360 images, and now they've moved into 3D. They've put the 3D into 3DVISTA, and so for the last couple of years, I've been experimenting with 3D asset creation using my iPhone and various photogrammetry and LiDAR apps. And so I've made a variety of different models, and including one as part of this tour, which we'll get to in a minute. With this pathway, I have just kind of made it so the hotspots just take you to and orientate you in the direction you're going to travel. So we've kind of done this kind of S shape, sort of zigzagging, and there are questions over whether I should just, move you person forwards and let them turn around. But I kind of feel like if you just kind of put somebody in the trees, they're like, oh, I'm in the trees. Where's the path? So I'm doing the turning. I've programmed that in already for it to, when it gets to the corner, it turns the corner for you, sort of thing. And then if you look down here, there's a little hotspot, because as I was doing this, I found some old man's fingers. Dead man's fingers rather, rotting on the bit of wood, or growing on the rotten wood rather. And so this is us cruising through the woodland, and yeah, so you can see the different features of the trees. Look past and you went, oh, we went past that tree and it's got this big interesting feature there. Let's go back up and look at that feature. What was that? Oh, look at this. Look at this nice feature of this tree. I wonder if something lives in there. Let's mark that as something of interest. Next time you go there, Katie, can you have a wee look for me? See if there's anybody living in that. That's kind of what we're going to start talking about in a minute. So yeah, that was an interesting one. Remember I said it was a bit too sunny. So I just misjudged that ever so slightly, this next shot. And my intention was to put the camera in the shadow of the tree, which is what I kind of started off doing. But I was against the time. I didn't have long to get around this whole woodland. So that one was a bit of an unfortunate one. Totally blasted by the sun. We're now at the educational area of this tour. So the first part of the tour was really about showcasing the fact that you can basically georeference all the different locations, all different spots all the way along. And when we look at the notes, you'll see the extra bit there of how that all comes together. So now we're going to go over here, this discoverable hotspot, and oh look, it's very muddy here, isn't it? So that might be something we want to talk about. There's a nice big bit of fallen deadwood there. I wonder if that's something to think about. Oh look, there's a grow logo on that tree. Why would there be a grow logo on that tree? This is an Exhibit Scotland stream after all. What's that grow logo doing on that tree? Right, before we do that, let's discover this. An upturned root. That root plate. Interesting. So that'll gradually weather and birds will nest in it and frogs will hide in it and all sorts of stuff. That's an interesting feature of the woodland when it comes to biodiversity. Oh look, there's some trees here, some pine trees, some kind of fir trees. Maybe they're maybe they're something you want to think about retaining or not retaining. Let's hop out, back onto the path, and let's look at this. So, for people, right, so just, yeah, for people that are thinking about using this type of thing for visitor interpretation and creating exploratory educational experiences, it's, I think, obvious to you now that this can be done. And information can be put in place, all sorts of different things, pop-up things, and we'll get there. But first, this is the bit where Grow mixes with Exhibit Scotland. So Exhibit Scotland is me, Andrew, and I like to DJ, and I'm DJ Covalent, and Grow is a collaboration. It's an international collaboration of artists who bring their talents together to basically try to help people to live better. And what Kamal and I are doing together is bringing this together, Exhibit Scotland and his company Haraka together for forest bathing in virtual reality. This is the first ever showcase of it, so this is, I hope you enjoy this forest bathing experience that we're about to take, that Kamal is about to take us on. Okay, everyone?
Forest bathing, a journey of mindful nature immersion.
Okay, I'm going to turn my mic off.
In the heart of nature's embrace, where the beauties and mysteries of the earth unfold, we invite you on a journey of awakening the senses, immersing yourself in nature, known as forest bathing. The format of today's experience will be a series of invitations. These invitations are merely suggestions rather than instructions. The important thing is that you listen to your body and you do what feels right for you. Give yourself permission to experience the pleasure of what the forest has to offer. Some of the health benefits of forest bathing include relaxation, cognitive restoration, increased vitality, better immune function, and a deeper emotional connection to the natural world.
Okay, I'm going to interject here. We're going to go down here and have a little look at this educational bit of the tour. So up here on the tree, there is a very interesting tree feature where the tree is hollowed out and there's some special special mammals living in there. So this is a 3D model of that feature of the tree that I created with photogrammetry, and that's I took like 200 plus pictures around the tree and then asked the software to create a model of it. And so that's just a section of where the bats roost, basically. So you can embed videos and you can create aerial perspectives. If you have got a long pole or you've got a drone. In this situation, I used a pole because, of course, you wouldn't want to disturb any of the nocturnal inhabitants of this feature of the tree. Ashley, you'll be loving this, I suppose. I hope you are. So bats are protected in the UK. So you need a license to do any investigative work inside something like that. So this is not a Blender model. That is a model made with an app called Metascan. But you can take an OBJ file from this, or a variety of different output files. You can stick it into Blender, and then you can start messing around with it in Blender. And so yeah, that's kind of my approach to using Blender. I am doing what people call reality capture, a part of the XR umbrella, which is what we're all about here. Okay.
Our first invitation begins by finding a place in this woodland where you feel safe and comfortable. Tuning into yourself, leaving behind any anxieties or worries that you may have. One way to do this is to place those anxieties or worries on a natural object. This could be a leaf or a stone or something that you feel drawn to in the woodland. By doing this, we ease the transition from our busy everyday lives into a more contemplative state. Our next invitation is to connect with this place, taking a moment to truly take in the woodland around you, looking up at the canopy and down at the ground and all around you, and just experience the pleasure of being here. Now, checking in with your body, what does it feel like to be here, right now, in this place? As we move into awakening the senses, I invite you to spend a few moments listening to what your body needs. Feel free to stretch, move around, or rest as you feel. Now, as we begin to awaken the senses, I'd like you to find a place where you feel comfortable and just notice your breath as you gently breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you feel comfortable, I'd like you to close your eyes, or perhaps you'd prefer to lower your gaze to the ground. Now turn your attention to your feet. noticing how the earth feels underneath. Gently rock back and forth between the balls of your feet and your heels. You may also sway from side to side. Now turning your attention to the sensations that you feel on your skin. Notice the temperature of the air and any gentle breeze that you may feel. As we turn our attention to our sense of hearing, what sounds do you notice around you? What are the sounds that are far away and those that are nearby? Try to find a sound that is pleasurable and focus on that one. Now turning your attention to your sense of smell, I'd like you to inhale through your nose and see if you can identify any of the scents that are around you. Perhaps there is a familiar scent or something that you haven't smelled before. Now just notice what you are sensing. Turn your attention to your sense of taste, noticing what is in your mouth without judgment. Perhaps it's something sweet or something savoury that you had for breakfast. Now I'd like you to turn a quarter turn to your right, and as you do so, see if you can identify what is familiar and what is different. Now turn another quarter turn to your right and do the same here. Perhaps the breeze on your skin feels differently, or the light coming through your eyelids. Now as we turn one more time, a quarter turn to the right, just notice again what is similar and what is different. And now I invite you to turn to a direction that you feel most drawn to. What is it about this direction? Now in your own time, I'd like you to open your eyes, if you had them closed, as if you're seeing this place for the very first time, noticing the different shades of green, the different colours around you, looking up at the sky and down at the ground. What do you notice? Now I'd like you to take a deep breath through your nose, in through your nose and out through your mouth. We will now move on to our next invitation, where you will slow down, now that we have awakened the senses. Slowing down and observing everything around you, I'd like you to follow what draws your attention. Slowing down can be challenging, but it allows us to see from a different point of view. And as we walk, I'd like you to engage with whatever you feel drawn to. Perhaps a leaf that catches your eye. Why not touch it and smell it? And spend a moment with it, just observing, and then letting it go as you move on. And as you do so, notice what is happening in your inner world and the outer landscape. As we conclude our journey, take a moment to express gratitude to the natural space that has embraced you. As we receive, we give back to nature. Thank you for joining us on this forest bathing journey. By nurturing your connection to nature, you've taken a step towards greater well-being and inner peace. Remember, as you continue your daily life, take a moment to notice 3 good things in nature every day. A simple practice that will enhance your well-being and deepen your connection to the natural world. The forest has offered its wisdom and beauty. May your connection with nature flourish, and may you find solace and inspiration in the simplicity of being.
Now we're out. That was the way that we were told not to go earlier on, and that's the way we've ultimately ended up at. So, that is the little showcase digital twin that I made for Professional Tree Climbing Limited of their project, which is live right now. And let's go back down. It's a bit weird. Let's go back down the stairs to the beginning. And that was lovely. You might have noticed all along there was this little icon here in the corner. So that's the notes function. So what I've done is I've created the digital twin, and basically now we're adding a layer on top of that. You pay a subscription for bandwidth for a certain amount of time to basically use this function. Now, say for example you were building a building and you had people of all sorts of different trades. What you can do is you can basically categorize each trade, and then it means that only people within that category can access those notes. So it just means nobody's reading each other's notes, and it also makes it a bit more streamlined as well. Different colors of notes, if you like, for different types of trade or role, etc. So here what I've done is I've basically made a red category, category 1. All of my notes I've got red, are red. So I've basically made some notes here, and these are discoverable by anyone that is. I'm the administrator, and I can put 5 people onto this on my plan. You can get larger plans if you've got a large staff team, and yeah, you can all use this feature. So yeah, fantastic little way of using this. Digital twin is or virtual tour is basically hosted on my website, and I'm able to just overlay the notes onto this. It's all done by basically when you render out the plan in 3DVISTA. Let's just quickly jump over to 3DVISTA again. When you publish these plans, you end up with a screen like this. It offers you a variety of different options, whether you're going to publish it for the cloud, for the hosting service, whether for your web or mobile, etc. A standalone player, whether it's going to be just a video that you're going to render out, or whether you want it to go on and be part of Google Street View, and upload your tour onto that. So you can optimize it for the Quest or Pico Neo 3, optimize for old VR devices, export for legacy iOS like the iPhone 5 and 6, and various other optimization options. And here it's got 3DVISTA notes. So I put my username, etc. in there, and yeah, that's allowing me now to create the notes function. So that is digital twins with 3DVISTA and the notes, and yeah, how they can be used for showcasing and also communication tools. So it's a really great thing to invest in as a company, or a charity or an organization, whatever you are. Basically, if you are planning to do a rewilding project, for example, you could start by considering this as your way of documenting your journey for 10 years or whatever, and work with some of the basic approaches that I've detailed today to create your 10-year management plan, your 100-year management plan, etc. Technology is only going to increasingly get more utilized and better. So yeah, this is the kind of forefront of utilizing spherical media and 3D media to in a non-real world setting of a real world setting to communicate about the real world setting. Okay, so let's jump out of there and let's have a look at something. So I mentioned skins earlier on. This is a skin editor with the logo, etc. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start a new project. So I want to save. You lose all data saved in the current. Do you want to continue? Yes. The options you get to be at the beginning of this, you get to choose the way your skin looks, what sort of things you want. They've got a real estate magazine, they've got a travel magazine. You know, they've got different ways you can make your tour look. If you like, does that make sense? So it's like a magazine or a website type thing, or what? But you can just do basic, and with like some navigation tools and things that are there as well. So these are sorts of things you get options of. But I'm just going to go for, I like to just go empty basically and build it all myself. What we're going to do is we're going to import a 3D model. Now it's offering me three options. It offers me an orbital, so I import the 3D model as a 3D object where the camera will rotate over the object in 360 degrees, or I can add it as a flyover scene. In a flyover scene, which will import a 3D model as terrain, where the camera will fly over the model. Slightly different. And then first person view, so import a 3D model where the camera will be in first person view. So different ways to utilize your object. Say for example, you've just got a small object that you want to communicate around, then you probably use the orbital. If you've got a large landscape and you want to be able to move over vast distances quite quickly, and get to different reference points, etc., much like the one we were looking at earlier on. I could have done I could have flown over that woodland with the drone and made a model of it, and then we could be going down onto the model for the hotspots, etc., for the different locations. And then there's first person view. So first up, we're going to look at this bat roost. Here we've got our 3D model, and it's currently looking quite, you can see all the different facets of it and everything. So that's really what the model looks like. And actually, technically, it's wrong. There should be a hole there, basically, going through. That can be changed in Blender. Um, Now, if I want to basically make it look more like it does in the original model, I click this one here, which says baked textures. So this term baked, it means basically embedded, I suppose is another way of putting it. You know, you can't change that now. You've baked it in. So the baked textures are these textures. So these are the basically, as I was doing the scan, I was taking photographs. So this scan is being created by photographs basically. And I did it very quickly, just kind of walking around. And if I'd taken a bit more time over it, they might have all been in focus. Whereas it looks like some of these were out of focus. And that's why we've got these, I think we've got these little out of focus areas. The idea with this is that we can 3D print this now and basically create something which is more likely, better than a bat box, basically. This is more like the real deal. You know, you could scan that, and so it's interesting. I'm using the mouse wheel at the moment to I don't want to be up in the air like this, so I want to move the camera view. Right, I don't want to set that, so okay, this looks more like it. So I'm assuming that that central point is where the camera is. Oh, very interesting. Bring that down. I wonder if that's going to cut off the whole thing. Right, let's see what that looks like. Whoa, there we are in the center of it. That's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. Okay, so let's put the camera on the ground then. Oh, it's kind of under the ground. Okay. Right. Now we've got a viewpoint of, I don't know, a Labrador or something. We're quite low. But now we can move around the model. Like that, which is pretty cool. Now, there is something called, right, so let's list settings, the cameras, the hotspots, panoramas, all that sort of thing. There we go. Use click and go mode, which is what I want to use. I don't know what all that max radius and all that is. Right. Pretty sure there's something about a floor, yeah. Okay, so this is going to take a while to get used to by those things. Anyway, right. Now we've made a mess. Let's preview it and see what happens. I'm hoping that we can use the click and go function, and that's really all I want to do today, if I can get that working. So this cursor here on the ground is a little circle, and apparently that's the click and go circle. So this is the first ever time I've done it. Let's see what happens. Oh, I double clicked and it moved. Right, let's go over there. Hey, look at that. Double click and it just flew across. So it literally goes to the spot where you click on the ground. Exactly to that spot. Let's go to that bit of dirt there. Ah. Yeah, let's go to the car. Awesome. So yeah, basically I can now make landscapes in Blender using scanned objects like these trees, and then I can click around them and move. And that works in virtual reality as well. So basically you would just click on the spot in the space with your headset on, and it would transition you quite fast like that. I assume that there is a way to set the speed that it moves. That is one very cool advancement. Now, if I was to try and go up in the tree, what happens? It doesn't go up in the tree. Interesting. I wondered whether it would go up there, but I think that's the reason why I set the floor. I put the floor in place because I wanted it to register that there's a kind of threshold as to where you can and cannot go. So yeah, this is using a 3D model that you can move around and start, and is actually pretty close to real life, you know. This was done in the wintertime when there were no leaves on the trees. That would look amazing. As you can see, the leaves on the trees have created these blobby kind of things, which is kind of cool. So, I then expect that I can add hotspots to these things as well. So let's just try that. Let's stick a hotspot on tree. Let's bring it in, stop. Let's put a hotspot, a normal hotspot, a circular one, a circular circle. Yep, let's stick that on the tree. Stick it there. Okay, so when somebody clicks on that hotspot, it's going to open up a video. It's going to be a pop-up video, pop-up image, web frame, pop-up media. We're going to pop up a video. We want to add the media to the playlist, yes. On click, show, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I'm now going to preview this again. And let's have a look at what happened there. Now we should be able to go over to the tree. There's the tree and the hotspot is on the tree. Just having a look at it from different angles. Yeah, the hotspot is there, but what I want to know is, can you see, is it visible through the tree? It is visible through the tree. See, that's, to me, I'm not sure if I like that. Because I want to be able to go around the model and not see the other hotspots. If that makes any sense at all whatsoever. There might be a way to do that. I just don't know. And then when I click on the hotspot, a video should play. Ta-ra! So there we go. There's the video of the bat roost model. Just of the mesh. So yeah, so you can turn your 3D landscapes into learning experiences. That could be, it could have been some information about this tree, about the lichen on the tree, about the species of tree, about all sorts of stuff. So yeah, 3DVISTA is a great program to use, and I've been using it now for, well, 2019. How long, how many years is that? 5 years, 4 years. Yeah, nearly 5 years. And it's coming on, and it's been very interesting to play around with this, and yeah, it's like, this is the voice of the Mysterons, isn't it? That's that circle. Look at the way the circle's moving. Do you remember that, Captain Scarlet? This is the voice of the Mysterons. So yeah, be more from Exhibit Scotland, playing around with this, this technology, and more and more and more as time moves on, and basically doing what I call XR for good. So, oh wow, which is basically using this technology for good. Oh, I found it out now. So you hold the right mouse button down to go around and about like that, and you hold the left mouse button down to go in and out like this. And yeah, once you're happy being in the tree, look at us tree climbing. Awesome. Okay, let's go. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon.